My name is Levi Grayson, and I'm 53 years old. Until 3 days ago, I was a grieving widower, a semi-retired architect, and the man everyone in my family called the quiet one. Not with affection, but dismissal. I come from a lineage of lawyers, CEOs, and legacy wealth, my sister Serafina being the crown jewel, of course. While they climbed ladders and closed billion-dollar deals, I restored old buildings and read quietly in rooms they never noticed I was in. I've always been the spare key in a family that only respects vaults. I was willing to fade out quietly after my wife Mara's death, until Serafina made her little birthday toast. That's when I realized they never intended to let me grieve. They came for everything, and someone in that room wants me gone, permanently. Rain was still misting off my shoulders when I stepped into the ballroom. Too bright, too warm, too loud. 12 hours ago, I buried my wife. Now, Serafina's friends were clinking champagne glasses under chandeliers, laughing as if nothing mattered. A man in a tuxedo offered me a glass. I waved him off. No one made eye contact. Not Elias, not Roman, not even my mother. Serafina spotted me from across the room. Her smile was the kind that knew a punch was coming. The birthday girl, turning 40, queen of Boston's real estate game, wearing black silk like she was auditioning for widowhood. "Levi," she said sweetly, kissing both cheeks like we were in Europe. "I'm glad you came. Mara would have wanted you here." My jaw tensed. "She would have wanted a gun, actually," I muttered. Serafina ignored it, grabbed her wine glass, and clinked it with a fork. The room quieted. "To family," she began. "To new beginnings, and to honoring the wishes of those we've lost, no matter how inconvenient." She turned to me. "Which is why I wanted to share something special tonight." A folder slid across the marble bar toward me. Thick cream paper, official embossing. "I spoke with our family attorney," Serafina said, voice loud now. "Turns out Mara updated her trust 2 months ago. The Beacon Hill property. Well, Levi will be moving out soon." I blinked. Someone coughed. "She left it to the foundation," she added, grinning. "Her last gift to the city. You understand, right? Wrong room, wrong timeline, wrong universe. My wife and I co-own that house. Or so I thought." I looked down at the trust documents. Clean font. Dated, stamped, fake. She never mentioned. "She didn't have to," Serafina interrupted. "It was her right. She made her choice." "Choices," I said flatly, "don't get notarized in secret." Laughter bubbled around the room again. Offbeat, cold. And then a hand touched my shoulder. Declan Ward, Mara's college friend, financial analyst, quiet type, sharp suits, sharper tongue. He leaned in close. "She tried to reach you before the crash." He whispered, "Check her private email, the one on the old server." Before the crash. My pulse kicked hard against my ribs. The champagne flute shattered against the floor behind us. No one screamed. They just stared. Somewhere across the room, Roman checked his phone and walked out, like he knew this was about to spiral. "I'm not leaving that house," I said, voice low. "You might not have a choice." Serafina smiled, sipping her wine. Someone took a photo. Flash burst. White blindness. "Funny thing about power," she added. "Most people don't realize they've lost it until the lights go out." I stared at the page again. The signature. It looked like Mara's. But she never curled the M like that. She would never sign that, I said. Not unless someone made her. The house was colder than I remembered. Not just temperature, air, movement, memory. I left the front door unlocked. Let them come if they wanted. The Beacon Hill brownstone still smelled like Mara's citrus soap. That lemon-lavender mix she insisted on. A scent that always meant home. Now it just meant someone was missing. I dropped my coat on the chair, Mara's chair, still facing the window. The documents Serafina handed me burned in my pocket. I spread them on the kitchen island, stared, then tore them in half. No hesitation. Truth doesn't come in pre-folded envelopes. I powered up Mara's old laptop, the silver one, the one she stopped using 2 months ago without saying why. Booted slow. The desktop was clean. Too clean. One folder, labeled Taxes 2018-2022. I opened it. Empty. She'd never mislabel. Not Mara. Command Shift period. Hidden files. There it was. A second folder, grayed out. Titled SW Ledger. Double click. Password locked. I tried birthdays. Our anniversary. Nothing. Thought for a second. As she used to say, if you want to keep something truly safe, bury it under something no one respects. I typed, Declan Ward. Unlocked. My stomach dropped. Spreadsheets, charts, banking records, dozens. Transfers to shell companies. One name stood out, Sable and White Foundation, Serafina's nonprofit, but these weren't donations. These were redirections. Large sums. Wire transfers from the joint account Mara and I shared. My name was on them, no way. I never signed these, I never approved these. I opened a PDF, signature authorization form. My signature, clear, clean, perfect, too perfect. No one's pen strokes are that steady. Forgery. Holy shit, I whispered. The screen flickered. The house lights dimmed. Outside, a car engine revved. Too slow, too deliberate. I closed the laptop, grabbed my phone. Albie, one ring. Levi. I found something. I need you to decrypt it. Fast. SW Ledger. I'm texting it over now. Where'd you... No time. I copied the folder, uploaded to a shared drive, sent the link. Outside, a shadow moved past the front window. I killed the lights, moved upstairs. Quiet. Every floorboard like thunder. In our bedroom, I pulled Mara's notebook from the top drawer. Inside, scribbled notes, arrows, half-thoughts. One stuck out. If I disappear, he'll come looking. Levi always does. My hand tightened on the page. Downstairs, floor creak, not me. I froze. Someone was inside. No knock, no call, no alarm. They knew the code. They disabled the alarm. Back hallway. Pantry door creaked open. I slipped into the closet. Quiet breath. Shadow passed by the crack of the door. Leather shoes. Too clean for a thief. The stranger didn't steal anything. He set something down on the table, then left. Door shut. Car engine again. Gone. I waited. 1 minute, then 2. I came down. The manila. Envelope sat neatly on the table. No address, no handwriting. Inside, a flash drive. I stared at it. Some gifts or warnings. I plugged it in. A single file. No name. It opened to a video. Grainy. No timestamp. Mara. Sitting on the bed. Talking to her phone camera. Tears running. If something happens to me, it won't be an accident. My lungs froze. They're watching me. I don't know how deep this goes. But it's not just the money. It's Serafina. It's Roman. Maybe even... Knock. Hard. I yanked the flash drive out, stuffed it into my back pocket. Another knock, louder. I moved to the peephole. Empty street. Nothing. No car. No person. Just mist curling on the sidewalk. No sound. No shape. But something had shifted. They didn't take anything. They left something. A flash drive. I checked into a 2-star motel off the river. Half the neon sign flickered. The lobby smelled like microwave popcorn and bleach. Perfect. Room 12. First floor. View of the dumpster. I shoved a chair against the door and drew the curtains shut. No light. No sound. I plugged in the flash drive. The file played automatically. Mara. Same sweatshirt she wore the week before she died. Hair pulled back. No makeup. Pale. Tired. Scared. If you're seeing this, she whispered, then I'm already gone. I froze. Mara never dramatized. She didn't record for show. She recorded for proof. They want the house, but it's not about the house, she said. It's about what's buried under it, the foundation, not just metaphorically, literally. Cut. Static. Then more footage. Grainy wide angle. Camera hidden on a desk. Mara talking to someone I couldn't see. Her voice was sharper here. Controlled. I won't be part of it, she said. I won't let you. Use my name. Silence. Then a voice. Male. Calm. You won't have to. By the time it's done, your name won't matter. Click. The video ended. I sat frozen for 5 seconds, then replayed it. Again. Then again. The voice. I knew it, but my brain wouldn't say it. Denial is a slow poison. I texted Albie. Need audio enhancement. Voice match. His reply came 2 minutes later. On it. Stay somewhere bright. I turned on every light in the room. Then I moved to the motel cafe. Crowded, fluorescent, cheap coffee, noise. Better than silence. The waitress brought my cup. Eyes tired, no smile. You look like you saw your own ghost, she said. Not mine, I said. Someone else's. She topped off my cup without asking. There's a saying, she muttered. The living fear the dead, But it's the living who bury secrets. She walked away. I stared at the coffee, heat rising. I opened my laptop again, scrolled through Mara's file tree. Second folder I hadn't noticed before. Doc footage 2019 dead MP4. I played it. A nighttime shot. Camera mounted. Boat dock. South Boston. Figures moving under yellow halogen lights. One was Mara. Another, tall, coat collar up, walking like he owned the whole pier. Then a third man. Bald. Heavy. Carrying something. A briefcase. I paused. Zoomed. License plate on a parked SUV. Partially visible. R6PZ2. Albie could track it. I typed it in a doc, saved, encrypted. My phone buzzed. Albie. That voice. It's Roman. Roman. My brother-in-law. My pulse climbed. Roman was always slippery. Smooth talker. Big real estate hands in downtown development. Mara never liked him. Said he smiled like a shark in a library. I called him once the night Mara died. He never answered. He texted 3 days later. Tragic. Anything I can do? Now I knew what he'd already done. I shoved the laptop into my bag, slid the flash drive into my sock. Cut scene. Motel hallway. Footsteps. Behind me. Too close. I turned. Empty. Camera above the vending machine blinked red. Motion detected. I picked up pace. Out to the parking lot. My car. Black Honda. Still there. I started the engine. Headlights flicked on. I froze. Another car. Across the lot. Idling. No lights. Just a silhouette in the driver's seat. Watching. Waiting. I drove out fast. Took 3 random turns before heading north. Pulled into a small gas station. Left the car running. Inside, I bought breath mints, beef jerky, and a burner phone. Back in the car, I dumped my SIM card out of the window. Reset the GPS. Then I drove toward the one person who never lied to me. Declan. He owed Mara. And now, he owed me. I didn't know if he was clean. But I knew this. If someone wanted me out of that house, it meant I was getting too close. Declan met me in the alley behind Fenway. Wind howled off the brick. His coat flapped like a flag surrendering to a war he didn't ask to join. You look like hell, he said. Good. That means we're even. We walked fast. No eye contact. His keycard buzzed us into a side door of his accounting firm's old satellite office, long since closed, still intact. Dust thick on everything, the hum of dead silence. I'm not doing this for you, he muttered. Mara trusted me. That's the only reason you're standing here. I nodded. Trust is currency. And I was broke. We passed filing cabinets, turned a corner, stopped at a recessed panel in the wall. Declan popped it with a screwdriver. Inside, a keypad safe. Old school. 4-digit code. He punched it in. The door clicked. Inside, an external hard drive, 2 manila folders, and Mara's red leather notebook. The original, not a copy. I swallowed hard. Declan handed it to me. She made me hold it 6 weeks before she died. Said, if anything ever looks too quiet, give it to Levi, because it means something loud is coming. I didn't respond. Some people leave flowers. Mara left evidence. I grabbed the drive. Then the alarm chirped. Declan's eyes widened. We didn't trip anything. Motion sensor, I said. Not ours. He ran to the breaker box. Too late. A loud clunk. The front door bolted itself shut. Smoke drifted from under the baseboards. They weren't here to take anything. They were here to erase. I grabbed a fire extinguisher. Declan fumbled with a window lock. Flames licked the doorframe. The air grew thick, then unbearable. I shoved the drive into my jacket, yanked open a side panel, kicked out the vent cover. Go. Declan hesitated. Now! He dove in. I followed. Metal tore at my arms. Hot air rose behind us. Smoke chased us like wolves. We dropped from the vent into a concrete loading dock. My lungs clawed for dew. Oxygen. Declan coughed beside me, covered in soot. Alive. Sirens wailed in the distance. Not fast enough. We didn't wait. We ran. Cut scene. In the back of my car, parked under a flickering street lamp, I plugged the drive into my laptop. Encrypted. Layers deep. Albie would need hours. But I didn't have hours. I pulled out Mara's notebook. Page 1. Floor plan of the Beacon Hill house. Page 2. A list of names. Page 3. Circled phrases. SW Foundation Ursula Umbrella account. Shells built from fake zoning permits. Roman signed off. Then, written in her hand, "Trust funds, not the fraud. It's the laundry. They're cleaning money through me." I read it twice, a third time. A knot pulled tight in my chest. They used her. Her name. Her access. Her grief. They turned my wife into a laundromat. And now they wanted me evicted, so I'd never see the receipt. I slammed the notebook shut. Declan's voice cut through the dark. "You know what happens if you go public with this?" I nodded. "I lose everything." He looked at me, quiet. "Some men are born to build houses," he said. "Others are forced to burn them down just to be heard." I didn't respond. I opened the glove box, took out the last thing Mara had touched before the accident. Her key ring. The brass one with the red tag. Basement key. The floor plan came back to me. She marked a section behind the wine cellar. I looked at Declan. "We're going back to the house." "Now?" "Yes." "You really think they won't be watching it?" "I hope they are." I turned the ignition. The tires spit gravel. Declan leaned back in his seat. "You got a plan?" "Not yet," I said. "But I've got something better." "What?" "Evidence they didn't burn. Because if they're burning buildings now, I'm not the only one in danger anymore." The rooftop restaurant shimmered in glass and pretense. Boston skyline behind me. Cold air sharp in my lungs. The kind of place people toast betrayal and call it business. I reserved the entire west balcony. 1 table, 4 chairs. Serafina arrived first. Black heels, razor-cut bob, perfect smirk. Roman came next. No tie. Too relaxed. Confident like someone who thought they'd already won. Elias followed. Late, distracted, phone clutched like a lifeline. Declan stayed in the shadows, watching from the bar. Backup, insurance. No small talk. I poured wine. Didn't drink it. "Let's save each other time," I said. "This isn't about grief. It's about Mara. And what she found." Roman chuckled. "Still pushing that. You've been out of the loop too long, Levi." "I've been quiet," I said. "Not out." Serafina leaned in. "So what's this? An ambush? You think you have leverage?" I slid the flash drive across the table. "This is Mara's final word." I pressed play on the tablet. Her voice filled the air. Steady. Unflinching. "If something happens to me, it won't be random. There's a file. In the house. In the foundation." Serafina's smile didn't crack, but her hand twitched near the stem of her glass. "She's gone, Levi," Roman said, "and grief makes people see ghosts." Elias stood suddenly. Chairs screeched. "I can't," he muttered. "I didn't know it would go this far." Serafina's voice sliced through him. "Sit down." He didn't. He left. Door slammed behind him. I turned to her. "You used Mara's trust fund to move illegal property cash. You forged her signature. You staged the trust transfer to force me out." She reached into her bag, pulled out a single sheet of paper, laid it in front of me. "I didn't forge anything," she said. "She signed this. Notarized. Witnessed. You'll find your name there, too." I scanned it. It was clean. 2. Clean. I once asked Mara what scared her more, death or legacy, I said. She said legacy, because it doesn't care who it buries. Roman leaned in. "You're not going to win this in a room full of lawyers, Levi." "Good," I said, "because this isn't going to court." I stood. "Tonight's just a courtesy. Tomorrow the FBI gets the files. Albie decrypted everything, every wire, every shell company, every call." Roman stiffened. Serafina's lips parted. "You wouldn't." I stepped back. "Already did." Cut scene. The parking lot was dark. I reached my car. Wind pushed trash across the asphalt. Footsteps. Fast. Declan emerged from the alley, breathless. "They tried to wipe the servers," he said. "But not fast enough. We got the offshore logs." I nodded. "You okay?" "No," I said. "But I'm awake." He handed me an envelope. Inside, a photo. Mara, at the docks, talking to someone. Same coat. Same night as the surveillance footage. Only now, the man's face was clear. Not Roman, not Elias. Cassian Doyle, her oldest friend, her supposed protector, the man who helped write the original trust. I stared at it. The sharp angle of his jaw, his hand on her arm, her eyes full of fear. Declan whispered, "You said they came for everything." I nodded slowly. They didn't. Why? Because the person behind it all, I closed the envelope, wasn't at the table tonight. The foundation door was hidden behind a false panel in the basement, just like she said. Rusty hinges groaned. Dust choked the air. Old stone, cold and sweating with years. I moved fast, flashlight sweeping low. Declan behind me, silent. The tunnel descended beneath Beacon Hill. Deeper than I thought. Reinforced beams. Fresh wiring. Someone had been here recently. Places built for hiding, I muttered, were never meant to be permanent. Just long enough to forget what they hold. At the end, a vault door, old school, keypad and rotary. Declan handed me the brass key from Mara's notebook, the one with the red tag. It fit. The lock clicked. Inside, rows of shelves, boxes, labeled by date, a safe in the back, cracked open, and a VCR. I reached for the tape resting beside it, handwritten in red, Mara V3. I slid it in. Screen crackled to life. Mara. In a room I didn't recognize. This wasn't a confession, it was surveillance. She was filming a meeting. Hidden cam, far angle. Roman, Serafina, Cassian. 3 of them at a round table. Stacks of folders, laptops, diagrams of zoning maps. Money flow charts, bribes. Audio kicked in. Cassian. Once she's out, we clean it. Levi's too slow to trace it. And if he pushes... Serafina. We remove him, quietly. I froze. They planned it all. My eviction, her death, my silence. Cassian leaned in, whispered something inaudible. Mara zoomed, tried to catch it. The audio broke. Static. Then Cassian's face. Up close, looking straight into the camera. He knew. I ejected the tape. Cut scene. FBI took the whole room. Evidence. Tape. Tunnel map. Cassian disappeared 2 hours before the raid. Roman was arrested in his condo. Serafina at her office. Her expression when they cuffed her wasn't fear. It was fury. People like her aren't afraid of prison. They're afraid of exposure. The Beacon Hill house legally returned to my name. But I didn't stay. I sold it. Quietly. Donated the profits to a foundation Mara once dreamed of. Real one this time. For women cornered by powerful men who make threats look like contracts. Declan moved back to Vermont. Albie went off-grid again. And me? I left Boston, took Mara's ashes to the cove in Provincetown she once sketched in the margins of her journals. Wind rough, sky steel gray. I scattered her into the tide. Some things aren't meant to be buried. Back at the cabin, I sat alone. No phones, no inbox, just air, breathable again. And a thought that kept ringing like a bell. Sometimes justice isn't loud, it's quiet, precise. A line drawn in fire, not ink. Mara once told me, "We think legacy is what we leave behind, but maybe it's just what survives after everyone tried to erase it." I whispered to the empty room, "You survived, Mara." Then my phone buzzed. No number, one new message. There was a second tape, and it was never found.